Hello, this is a compilation video. It shows me prepare my onion bed in autumn. It shows me plant the onions in spring. And finally, it shows me harvest the onions today in late summer. From planting to harvest, this is a start to finish video. Enjoy the video. In the autumn stroke winter of last year, I prepared the onion bed for this year. How did I do that? Well, I put a slack handful, and that's a light dusting of garden lime on the bed. I wasn't trying to alter the pH. Why would I do that? I just had a great harvest. No, I was just trying to sweeten the bed a little, and then I covered it with a layer of chop and drop, which was, I think, mainly grass and leaves and some seaweed, and since then I've added more seaweed to that and let it stand over winter until today, when I've removed what was left on top of the bed. Hey, check this out. It's the beginning of spring here in the United Kingdom, and in this video we're going to be sowing some red skin onion sets. We're going to be using some onion fertiliser, and to make sure we get them equally spaced we're going to use this board, 6 inches wide and 5 inches between the chalk marks. So that'll give us 6 inches between the rows and 5 inches between the onion sets. Okay, so the bed's ready to go. There's nothing else to do now except plant these guys. So what I'm going to do in preparation, I'm going to hoe the top inch or two of the bed just to break it up because it is a no-dig bed. I'm going to incorporate some of this onion fertiliser, rake it in, then we'll use this board to plant these sets. Are you up for it? I know you are. Meet you in the garden. Okay, I make that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rows of 9. That's 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Yeah, I thought there was about 50. We'll keep those 4 for spares in case I've missed any here, or some of them don't get away. Yeah, we'll keep those 4 for spares. We'll make do with this for the time being. Well, as you can see, I've already lifted some of these onions and tidied them up a bit. We'll just take the roots off this one, pop it back on that pile, like that. We'll lift this last red skin here. Hold on, Meg. We'll lift this guy, and then we'll take these onions up the garden, and I'll give you a closer look at them. Okay, I hope you've had a good year yourself. I've got quite a few across the finish line, but there's some that didn't quite make it. I'll show you those when we go up the garden. Just take a few loose skins off and dry these guys out, and then into storage. And what I will do is, at the end of this video, I'll give you a link to a video I produced some time ago that shows how I store my onions. Now there's probably a number of ways you can do this, but this is how I do it, and it works for me, and I can usually get, let me see, 6 or 7 months worth of storage out of my onions before they look as though they either want to grow again, or we've eaten them all. Yeah, so I can store these guys, and I have stored them in previous years for 6 or 7 months. Right, let's whiz up the garden with these, and we'll give you a closer look. Okay, that's if Meg will let us get away. Right, come on, up the garden. So these are the onions I've harvested so far. There's probably the same number again still in the raised bed, and I'll harvest those later. But what I want to do is, I want to cut you to some onions that I haven't got across the finish line, that won't get across the finish line. Let me just show you these onions, then come back to these ones that have crossed the finish line, that will go into storage, that will be used in the kitchen. Check this out, then come back. These onions haven't made the cut. These onions won't be going into the kitchen. They certainly won't be going into storage. I may, after I've shot this video, split them and see if I can recover some onion from them. But these onions have bolted. These onions have all gone to seed. There's the stem, minus the seed head. Yeah, these onions have bolted. Shame really, because they are fairly big. You know, they are a nice onion. But what I suspect I'll find when I do split these, if I split these, is that this stem will go right through the centre of that bulb. We'll go right through the centre of the bulb and there'll be very little onion. What a shame. I mean, they'd all started to bulb up nicely. Quite a few of these guys, isn't there? All bolted. Yeah, all bolted. What a shame. Right, let's get back to the onions that have made the cut. The ones that will finish up in storage and ultimately in the kitchen. Let's get back to those now. So as you could see, there was about a dozen onions there, and they were a fair size, but yeah, they'd bolted, they'd gone to seed. There'll be very little onion to be had there, but yeah, it might be worth a shot just to split them up and see what we can get. Let me show you one of these a bit closer. It's a nice onion, isn't it? Red Baron. That's a nice size onion, we're happy with that. Yes, we are. And as I've already said, I've stored that type of onion and Ailsa Craig before, and they do store quite well. Yeah, I'm pleased with the way these onions store, but we need to get them dried, so I've got them on this storage box at the moment because there's a wee bit of wind and there is some sun. There's some smaller ones at the back, look. They're not all big. There are some smaller ones. I'm not trying to hide them from you. Yeah, there are some smaller ones. So we'll see if we can get them dried off a bit more today before the rain comes, because you can't see it but I can, but there's quite a few black clouds up there. And what I tend to do, because I'm gardening at home, I rush outdoors, throw these in the wheelbarrow and run into the garage with them. And then when we get a dry spell, they're back out again. And once we get a lot of this greenery to turn brown, we'll take it off and we'll put them into storage proper. Now before you go, I did promise you a link at the end of this video that will show how I store these onions. I've done it this way for a number of years. I know it works. Click that link if you want to see that. If you're a subscriber, thanks for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, you may want to become a subscriber. But whatever you do, click that bell notification icon and you'll see me harvesting more vegetables here at Homegrown Veg in the United Kingdom as we move into our first autumn month in about 3 weeks' time. So this is Homegrown Veg signing out.